Two Rivers Talks is brought to you by Two Rivers Biz Starts. Also by Two Rivers Main Street. And by Raleigh Point Economic Advising. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to Two Rivers Talks, your connection for all things Two Rivers. I'm Todd.
I'm Darla.
And we're really glad you're here to join us today. Whether you're from Two Rivers, you used to live here, you're thinking about living here again, we like to talk about all the really great things that are happening in the city, whether it's in the entertainment or the arts or sports or just library activities or new businesses. Lots of cool stuff happening in town. And this is where you get your update about the latest stuff that's going on.
That's right. And we've got a ton of stuff to talk about.
We do.
Today.
It's a big list, so buckle up, everybody.
Yeah. In today's episode, we'll be talking with Miss Christma Rusch, who is the Executive Director of the Lighthouse Recovery Center in Manitowoc. And I'll tell you, we already did our interview with her, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, she's doing some really important work for the community and for the region. And you're going to hear some great stories from her.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And then back by popular demand, we're also pleased to welcome back our local guitarist, Mr. James Willoughby.
Right. And I understand that he might be doing acoustic and electric.
That's great.
So I told him, I said, bring it all down and we're going to let you rock and roll.
That sounds good. And
we'll also be visiting with Mr. Russove about upcoming community events during our Main Street Minute segment, and this was like what, our fourth interview, you think, with him?
I believe so. Yeah,
I think, and it really has enhanced our podcast, and it's a lot of fun to have him show up and because he has a lot of surprises for us.
Well, yeah,
so
I
it's
feel
kind of
like
cool.
We kind of get like the inside scoop on what's happening in town with events, and he's been very good about just kind of sharing, what he's thinking about, what he's working on. And so you get some teasers here first, folks. This is kind of the best kept secret. You want to tune in and check us out.
That is our goal in life, is to tease you. So I think we're doing an awesome job. It's in our job description.
Right.
So Todd, if you want to start talking about what's in the news.
Right, in the news, paddling through history, shipwreck interpretation for paddlers. Okay, Tuesday, April the 9th at 6 p.m. It's going to be co-hosted by the Woodland Dunes Nature Center and the Friends of the Twin Rivers. Mm-hmm. So this will be an opportunity to discover Wisconsin's history beneath the waves with the Wisconsin Historical Society's maritime archaeologist, Tamara Thompson. And you'll get to explore easily accessible, shallow water shipwrecks of Lake Michigan's scenic shoreline. This is very alliterative.
Yeah.
Holy cow, Batman. Through underwater video, historic photographs, and archaeological discoveries. Hear stories of the tragic losses and learn how to visit, protect, and preserve these time capsules of our maritime past. Right. Sounds very interesting.
It does. It really does. And then I thought this was cute. And to preface this, the reason I found out about it was because I was on Facebook, and the cutest little picture of a buck-toothed little puppy came up.
A buck-toothed puppy?
Well, it was I think it was a bulldog who had a pacifier in its mouth,
gotcha, okay.
but there was like buck teeth on the pacifier, and he was wearing rabbit ears.
Everybody's dying to know what this event is now.
I know,
right? Yeah.
But it caught my eye, and I realized then that it was for the first annual Easter egg hunt for our four-legged friends, Sunday, April 14th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., located at Dirty Paws Pet Grooming on 12th Street here in Two Rivers.
We're along 12th Street, sure.
Right. And their mantra is, dogs need to have fun for Easter too. Each pup will get their own egg color to find. Owners can help.
Okay.
And they receive yummy prizes.
That's really
But it just
sweet.
looks so cute. It was like, we got to talk about
Well, it's
that.
almost like, they do the Puppy Olympics before the Super Bowl. It kind of feels like that, that sort of deal. I hope somebody films it. And if,
Oh, yeah.
if anybody from Dirty Paws Pet Grooming happens to see this, it'd be a great idea if you could live stream that on Facebook.
That would be
Facebook
cool.
Live. That'd be really cute. Yeah. Anyways, great idea. Love it. And it sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, we have, this is for Wednesday, April the 17th, History Happy Hour at Kurtz's Pub and Deli. Again, Wednesday, April the 17th at 5:30 p.m., guests will receive an historical overview handout about the establishment, along with a commemorative photo coaster. Cool. There will be a raffle to support the Meme House. Is that Meme?
I think it's a Mimi House.
Mimi House Inn restoration project underway through the Manitowoc County Historical Society. It's free admission. You have to be 21 years old. But donations to the restoration project will be greatly appreciated. So head on down there and check it out April the 17th.
Sounds great. And then one thing that I had heard about and I thought was definitely worth mentioning was there is going to be storm spotter training. And that is going to be at the UWGB Manitowoc Campus Theater on Vebon Street, Thursday, April 18th at 6 p.m. And it is brought to us by the U.S. National Weather Service of Green Bay. And basically what it is that storm spotters are volunteers who help their community and NOAA's National Weather Service by keeping an eye on the sky during severe weather. Spotters contact the NWS, keeping the forecast staff updated with the latest information from their location. And what I thought was nice is that anyone over the age of 15 years old can become a spotter. So it's involving some of our young people too.
That's great. That's
I know.
great. If you're thinking about a career in meteorology, what a terrific way to get started and do something official with the National Weather Service. That's a resume builder even.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Now, so this next item, we're going to hear a little bit more about this from Roger in the Main Street Minute. But the Art in Central Park event that Basil Ishkabibble is a sponsor of is going to be, you can pick up an application and a canvas here at Basil Ishkabibble's on Washington Street, or at the Two Rivers Main Street office on the 3rd floor of City Hall.
Right.
And it's a $25 fee for adults, $5 for students. Roger's going to talk about this a little more.
Right.
But this is really a public art project.
It is.
To beautify the downtown over the summer, right?
Absolutely.
And so the deadline for submissions on this is April the 19th, so you're still going to have time to do your work of art,
to get their art on.
Get your Da Vinci on,
Yeah.
or your Bob Ross, as the case might be, with happy little clouds. Yeah, I think it'll be a great time and such a neat thing that you're doing, and that it's going to really make our downtown come alive.
I think
over the
so.
summer. So very excited.
There's a lot of enthusiasm by local artists and just excitement, and that's kind of why we're kind of hyping it today. Is if you're interested, don't overthink it. Just come on in, get a canvas, just do it. And I know you might
we don't want
surprise
Nike to sue
yourself.
us. We don't want Nike to sue us.
Of course not.
Just please proceed with it.
Please proceed with it, please. And then I just wanted to announce that there's going to be a movie premiere here at Basil's. And not to toot my own horn, but I kind of am. It's a premiere of a short film that my friend and I just completed. Her name is Taylor Dietrich.
Okay.
And it's called Proxy. And it's going to be free to the public. And so I wanted to put that out there. If you've never been to a film premiere, we're going to try and do it as, professionally as possible. We're going to have lead-in videos. But it's going to be Saturday, April 27th at 7 p.m. It's going to be right here at the Art Gallery. The doors are going to open at 6. Mm-hmm. The first short film is going to start at 7. My movie is rated R, and that is due to the mature theme, and it really is not suitable for young children. So just keep that in mind. But it's a free event. Light refreshment will be available, and I would love to have the community turn out for that.
This is a great, and it's an important film too. And we interviewed you
Right.
on an earlier episode of Two Rivers Talk. So those of you who tune in regularly will probably remember it, but if you're curious and you'd like to hear more, check out one of our previous episodes.
Right.
I'm not sure which one it was.
I don't remember.
5, 6, something like
7,
that.
8.
Right.
I know.
Somewhere there. Right. Anyways, you can find it. You just have to watch them all.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's great. And so Saturday, April the 27th at 7 p.m.
Right.
Great. So turning to the city calendar, just a couple of the basics that are going on here. The city council meeting is going to be held on Monday, April the 15th at 6 p.m. City Hall, the 3rd floor council chambers. An agenda is going to be available for that online, and I assume, as usual, it'll be streaming up on Facebook.
Right.
So if you can't make it in person, you should definitely tune in and check it online.
Right.
And then the other thing that's going on the city calendar is the Triad meeting. That is going to be Tuesday, April the 16th at 9 a.m. at the Two Rivers Police Department.
Right.
And that is that's training to avoid.
That's
crimes
for the senior citizens.
That's right. Okay.
And there's different things. I don't know a whole lot about Triad. I know that there are different events that they are involved in the community. I'll have to find out more.
Yeah.
But a lot of it it focuses on keeping our senior citizens safe.
Okay.
And that includes also graft, or scams.
Sure. We should maybe get somebody from the police department on.
I think that would be a good
and have
idea.
a conversation with them, because I think that'd be generally interesting to anybody out there and who's got older parents, and
right.
you kind of want to watch out for them a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good.
And then Two Rivers Biz Starts is going to be Thursday, April the 4th at 6 p.m.
So this might be cutting a little fine on the release of this video, but hopefully it's out in time for that.
Right.
But yeah, this is going to be networking to win for everybody with UW Green Bay lecturer on entrepreneurship and friend of Two Rivers, Ryan Kalf. It was a reschedule from his January talk when we were like snowpocalypsed in from everything. But yeah, it was very gracious of him to reschedule. It's going to be a great event.
Right.
I think it's going to be pretty well attended. I know there's some folks from the Y. They're going to be maybe coming from the staff. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Well, hopefully.
Well, now they have to.
Yeah, now they have to come. Right. Joe, tell them. Anyways. Yeah, so please come. Even if you're an introvert, the whole point of this is if you're in the business world or in the business community in any way, shape, or form, you need to be able to talk about what you do and be able to interact with people in a social venue over cheese dip. So anyways, it's important, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun that night.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And what is going on at the Leicester Public Library?
Lots of things for adults, teens, and youths. On the adult side, we've got the LPL Flicks event, A Star is Born, classic. This is going to be Friday, April the 5th at 1 o'clock. Or this is probably the new one.
The new one,
came out,
yeah.
Right? It is a rated R film, so it's rated R. You know what that means, people. And bring a beverage. LPL will provide the popcorn for that. There's also going to be a card making class. That's going to be on Monday, April the 8th from 1 p.m. until 8 p.m. You can just drop by any time in that time range. It's not a 7-hour class.
Right.
It's just like come in, make a card. It's casual, right? The cost is $7 for the materials, and you should bring your own double stick tape and scissors.
Right.
It's interesting.
I carry it with me all the time.
Pull it out of my backpack and, my double stick tape. I'm ready to go. Okay, excellent. Then the teen programs, there's the skip event. I don't know any details.
Skip it because there's really nothing on the calendar.
I want to know what the skip event is. We should talk to Jeff Dawson about that and see what he says. Okay, anyway, the youth programs, there's just the recurring events. You can check the LPL website for that. Story time, Jumpstart, and First Step. All of which are real things as opposed to Skip, which is not an actual event. Thanks, Darla. Over to you.
I thought that was so obvious. I'm so sorry.
Well, there's acronyms and stuff all the time. I just asked about Triad a minute ago. So.
Okay.
We're keeping it real here, folks. Keeping it real. So.
Oh, that was awesome. Okay, I'm crying. I'm leaking.
Oh no.
All right, Two Rivers Senior Center. Recurring events, dominoes, bowling at Rudy's Lanes, dartball, cribbage, and sheep's head are some of the many, many offerings through our senior center. I'm really curious about dart ball.
Dart ball, yeah.
You know, actually, I think I want to go take a peek and just because it almost seems cruel.
It sounds like dodgeball. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna throw dart balls at people or something. I don't know.
We got to find out
right,
more.
Right. Sounds dangerous. Okay, so on to Two Rivers Parks and Rec. Lots going on over here. There's going to be a dance recital on Saturday, April the 6th. That's from 1 p.m. Oh, sorry, 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. I guess 2 separate performances.
Right.
And that's going to be at the Community House Gym. The admission is just $3. Children 12 and under get to attend for free.
Right.
I bet it's going to be really a lot of fun. I'd love to know a few details about that. Like, is there a dance studio around the area that's putting it on? Or?
I believe so. That's on the 6th.
6th of April.
Yeah, I don't know. They'll have to go down into the doobly-doo and follow the link over to Two Rivers Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And get more info.
Get your details over there. Great.
Get your
Great.
details on.
Also, another place where you could go to get your details on is for the pickleball event. Pickleball, that's right, you heard it, folks. Pickleball, there are several dates scheduled between now and April the 14th. And $20 for residents, $30 for non-residents because, you know, you got to pay extra. All pickleball games are drop-in sessions. Of course they are, because I know exactly what pickleball is.
Right.
Players need their own paddle. Now I know what's involved. A ball is provided.
So, yeah.
Pickles optional.
Pickles optional. I ain't going there.
All right.
All right. Pancakes with the bunny. All right.
What now?
We're getting back on track now. Pancakes with the bunny. Saturday, April 20th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's going to be at the Two Rivers Community House Dining Room. Hop on over for an all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast. Visit the Two Rivers Parks and Rec website. Did I say that right?
To register, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sounded like a Elmer Fudd in my head. I just didn't sound right.
I wasn't getting that, but okay.
So visit their website to register. All proceeds benefit the City of Two Rivers Youth Equipment and Program Fund to provide equipment, materials, and scholarships to youth in Two Rivers.
Super fun and, you know, great title, Pancakes with the Bunny.
Yeah.
That's really cute. Then last up, we've got the Two Rivers High School. Last but not least, they're having a career and education fair on Wednesday, April the 10th. Losing my voice today for some reason. Wednesday, April the 10th from 4 to 6 p.m. And Two Rivers High School invites all local businesses and industries to place a manned display in the cafeteria. So come on in. And the intention is for students and their families to look at their career options within the community. And so the high school recognizes that local businesses are looking for current and future employees and would like to showcase them.
That's right.
I think that's awesome.
So that kind of wraps it up for this week.
It does. It does. Another one in the can here. If you haven't already, please like our Facebook page, Two Rivers Talks, and share the show with your friends. You know, if you're so inclined. We hope you are. We hope you had fun. We did. We
Oh,
had fun with
absolutely.
this. And if you happen to be on YouTube, you can like us over there. We very much appreciate that. Your comments, your feedback are, as always, much appreciated. If you have an idea for a guest, if your grandmother's 101st birthday is coming up, if you know something cool that's happening that we haven't talked about yet, let us know, because we'd like to cover it.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And up next is going to be Mr. Roger Russove with a lot of very valuable information. So hang tight.
Bye. Well, we're back, everybody, and we have with us Roger Russove, the Executive Director for Two Rivers Main Street. Welcome back, Roger.
Thanks for having me back again.
Yeah, so tell us what's the latest, what's going on. I know you're back from a big conference.
Yes, I was just in Seattle, Washington for the Main Street Now National Main Street Center Conference. Almost 2,000 people that do work like I do from around the country for 3 days of tours around the city. Lots of workshop sessions and more. It was a great event.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
What were some of your breakout sessions? I'm just curious.
I went to one on downtown lighting. That was very informative. I went to one on on community branding and on scoring the effectiveness of a branding campaign. Entrepreneurship, I went to one, bought an event that a community in West Virginia holds called Show of Hands. And it's like a local in-person crowdfunding type event. That was just fascinating the way they put this together and help raise amounts of money between anywhere from $2,500 up to about $8,200 for a local business idea or business expansion or even a project for a nonprofit or something. And,
oh wow!
And yeah, and frankly, you go to these things and sometimes you get as much out of sitting at the bar with some of your peers who you've never met before. As you do sitting through the sessions during the day too.
Oh, sure.
So yes, I did do a little sitting at the bar too.
Okay.
Well, that's good. Well, I was gonna say you came back with this sort of energetic verve for life. So it's good. It's done you good to go there. So.
Absolutely. Well, and I have something to brag about a little bit too. 3.5 years ago, the National Main Street Center started an institute. And they have the highest certification level through this institute is a Main Street America Revitalization Professional certification. And after about 2 years of online classes and a couple of in-person workshops and a very extensive final exam, I received that certification at the conference.
Hey,
really?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Represent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. One of 28 people in the United States that have gotten it so far.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Well,
awesome.
good for you.
Yeah.
Right here at Two Rivers.
Hey, you bet. You bet.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thanks.
Well, so you're coming back with all these great ideas, but we absolutely want to hear about what's coming up or what's the latest stuff that's going on with programs and events.
Well, I think the first thing I'd like to talk about is Art in Central Park, and this is a new initiative where we'll have artists paint canvases that will be reproduced on banners and put in the east half of Central Park for the summer season. And right before I left, a week ago about, we rolled out the press on this and invited people to either stop here at Basil Ishkabibble's or at my office to pick up canvases. And frankly, it's been received really, really well to this point. We have 20 banners to fill. I'm sure we have more canvases than that out, so we'll have a group of people doing a juried selection of the approved ones. They will go up in mid-May. We'll be holding an intro event on May 18th.
Correct.
Saturday, May 18th, here at Basil Ishkabibble's, who, by the way, is the sponsor of this event. Thank you very much.
Oh, very nice.
Where people will be able to come in and see the canvases and also bid on the canvases. They'll all be available for sale or silent auction that day.
Okay.
More details to follow. We're still ironing out some of the details on that, but I'm looking forward to see what we get back. I think this whole thing's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm already kind of thinking of ways we can expand it for next year.
That's
right.
great.
And I think we're going to have to. That's my hope. But I mean, just the momentum that we have right now and the level of interest, it's like I've told you before, that first day that we had the canvases available to offer, Basil's opens at 10, and I had 3 people through my door wanting to fill out the application and to receive their canvas before 10:30. So, and it just continues to grow, and it's, and I know I've been doing whatever I can to get the word out. I just did a repost of a Facebook saying, get your art on. This is just a friendly reminder that if you want to participate, the clock is kind of ticking, so we really got to get it together. But yeah, it's a phenomenal thing.
Yes, and the deadline to return a canvas is April 22nd, Monday, April 22nd. And within the next few days after that, we'll have our jury select the 20 that'll be going up on the banners and start that process. And like I said, I think it's wonderful. I love public art, and this is an opportunity to do something that's a little bit different in this area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Nice to see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so that's going to be a great event. What else is happening?
The next event that we have coming up is this will be our 4th spring wine walk, but this year we need to call it a wine and beer walk.
Okay.
We've made some changes to the event, and what we're doing this spring is that people will either be able to buy a wine ticket or a beer ticket. The wine ticket, obviously, they'll go to each of the stops, and I'm going to say we'll probably end up around 20 based on the feedback that I'm getting. And they'll get a sample of wine at each stop. They will be able to sample up to 24, so they can get seconds at a couple places if they find wines they really like. Or they can buy a beer ticket and do the same thing. Each stop will have one wine available to sample and one beer available to sample. So if they want to, they can drink beer instead of wine. Our thought on this is that it becomes maybe a little more of a couples event because, you know, my wife has done the wine walk numerous times. I'm not a wine drinker. Even if I wasn't working, I wouldn't do it. But if it was a wine and beer thing where she can sample wine and I can sample beer, then it becomes something the two of us would do together.
I think that's great. So how is the beer going to be served? Like little pony kegs, or how does that work?
No, it'll be poured out of bottles.
Okay.
Out of bottles or cans.
Okay.
We won't use enough at any one stop to go the pony keg route unless we can find a brewery that's willing to haul a substantial amount of equipment down just to give samples of one beer. So it'll be poured from bottles and cans.
Okay.
And this will be all Wisconsin wines and all Wisconsin beers.
Awesome.
And our plan is to pair them up kind of geographically. So if we have beer from La Crosse and a wine from La Crosse area, we'll put those two together.
Okay.
So it'll kind of be a geographic marriage between the two, I guess you could say.
And this will be the first time where it's been like Wisconsin centric, because like last year I know here at Basil's we had Italian.
Last year we did all European wines. The very first one that we did was all Wisconsin wines also.
Oh, okay.
And you know, we try and change it up a little bit and kind of decided we were going to do a theme. That's why we went with the all European. But figured since, I mean, there's so many great beers in Wisconsin, as well as great wines, it's, you know, it makes a good pairing.
Okay.
Sure.
And tickets will be available online tomorrow. If you buy them by April 17th, they're $25. After that, they'll go up to $30. Or they are also available locally at Seeds and Beans.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'll have to put a link onto Basil's Facebook.
I will let you know when they're available.
Okay. That'd be great.
I'm just waiting for page approval from the company that does the ticket sales.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
That's great.
All right.
Anything else?
Well, how about a little bit of bad news?
Oh.
We had booked a band to play a concert the night of the car show on the beach. Band is named Southbound. They're a country rock, southern rock band from Milwaukee. I found out on Wednesday, I got a phone call in Seattle, that they are booked to play Summerfest the same night. And apparently Summerfest booking works a little bit differently.
Okay.
You submit your name that you want to play, and if you're chosen, they tell you when your time slot is.
Okay.
And as irritating, as frustrating as this is, if they're asked to play Summerfest, I think it's hard to take that away from them.
Yeah,
so,
I guess it's a little bigger event than ours.
Just
a
tad.
You know.
Yeah.
even though we have better beaches than they have in Milwaukee, but
Next time Milwaukee, we win.
Absolutely. So do you have anybody kind of in mind then?
I have a booking agent working on finding a substitute, and he was so apologetic. He felt so bad because he's the one that lined him up, you know. And I did have a brief conversation with Greg up at City Hall that maybe we go back to Southbound and invite him up to play a different date and force him to give us a deal because of the inconvenience.
Well, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Because I listen to them online, watch the videos. They look like a great band.
Oh, sure. Well, hopefully we can get them back, like you said,
Yep.
for another date, another venue. But in the meantime, we'll wait for good news about the rebooking of a different band.
And next time I come here, we will have such news. Yes.
All right.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And now since we last talked too, 2 new restaurants have now opened.
Yes. El Toro, which is in the formerly M&M Lunch, and that's how people know things around here.
Right.
But what it was 5 years ago, not what it is now. Very good food. They have Mexican food, but they also have a lot of American favorites. They do serve steak. They have seafood. They serve breakfast. Both Mexican and traditional American breakfast. They're currently opening at 8, but once the fishing season hits and the necessity is for them to open earlier, they will do that.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I
I
gotta go over
never-
there and try some huevos rancheros.
I know, I know it. Yeah, and I've been meaning to get over there. They've only been open for a short period of time, but my schedule just hasn't really allowed. But I like the fact that, I mean, their hours are incredible.
Yep.
You know, and especially to have another place as an option for breakfast. Because
Yes.
I know people were really clamoring for that, you know, so I'm really excited. I've seen photos of the interior and it looks really, really nice. And I'm excited about going. I just got to get over there.
Yeah, Carvel and his crew did a great job with the building, and I've eaten there. The food has been very good. The service has been great. And he's still, you know, I mean, this is his first restaurant experience.
Okay.
And so he's still learning,
Right.
but overall things are going very well. And the other one that you mentioned opened about a week and a half ago. It's called The Dock. This is in the former location, if we want to go back to that 5-year time frame, of Bank First National downtown. It, of course, was Schwartz's Pub and Grill, and then was the Cool City Bar, and now has reopened as The Dock. The menu looks great. I had lunch there today, as a matter of fact, and the food was very good. The service was fantastic.
Really good.
Yes, and I think they've got a formula that's going to succeed there.
I hope so.
I hope so
Yes.
too.
Because they have a lovely place. I mean, there was so much time and effort and money spent, you know, transforming it from a bank into an eatery, and they did a, you know, spectacular job.
Yep.
And it was sad to have it closed for a while, because you know the potential that's just sitting there. You know,
Yes.
so I'm just glad that their doors are open again.
Yes, and he has a hope at some point of adding some outside dining there too.
That would be
Oh,
nice.
that'd be perfect there.
Yeah, they have the room for it. It's
They
just
do.
a matter of figuring out the logistics and
Sure.
city codes and things like that to get it done. But that's something we
Right.
would like to do at some point. And I'm going to mention one more business that is opening on Monday, and that would be Whitecap Insurance Agency. For the Two Rivers people who know Nathan Cronforst, who started in the insurance business with Steve Sontag and then worked for Gates Insurance for a few years. Nathan is opening his own office on Monday.
Really?
Yes. It will be, I don't know the street address. It's on Washington Street next to Seeds and Beans,
Okay.
where Back in Motion Chiropractic used to be. And I wish him great success. I think Nathan will do a great job there on his own, and he's excited to get the doors open and
That's
get
awesome.
the ball rolling.
Awesome to hear like about these new businesses lighting up along the main drag here. So very gratifying and got to be great news for you. So.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I felt a little bad for Nathan, because about 3 weeks ago I got a phone call from him one morning, and he said, "I was going to sign a lease on a building last night and it's sold.
Oh,
Oh,
Do you have any ideas where I can put my office?" And he and his wife Teresa spent the whole morning visiting places and looking at offices here and locations there, and it was a struggle for him. There is not a lot of ground level retail space open on Washington Street right now, unless you want to buy an empty gas station.
right.
right.
But he contacted the owner of this building, and they worked out a fair price, and he and his wife and his daughters have been painting and
Okay.
cleaning and moving in furniture, and we'll be doing a ribbon cutting for him as soon as he gets his lettering up on his front window.
Fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
good news.
You know, and I've noticed across the street from Basil's, there's been some movement over there as well.
Yep.
You know, so the dark storefronts aren't as dark as they used to be.
Oh, and that's great. Especially coming into the spring and summer when there's a lot more traffic on Washington Street, it makes people more apt to stop if they see full stores. Even if it's an insurance agency and they're not open on a Saturday, if they're driving through on a Saturday and they see a thriving business community, they're more apt to pull their car over and get out and experience everything we have downtown.
Yeah. Wonderful.
And I think right now it's perfect timing too, because finally the weather is decent. There's so much more foot traffic. This winter was so brutal for so many small businesses, and depressingly so, you know. And now that the weather is better and the people are starting to come back into the shops and browsing around, and it's like, thank you so much. You know, the weather is now cooperating, and we made it through.
Yep, and unfortunately the last few winters have been kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know, we've had harsher winters, we've had colder weather, and bigger snowfalls, which are obviously a challenge. I had an interesting conversation with somebody I shared an Uber ride with yesterday in Seattle to the airport, and she was saying this is a woman, a single mom with a son and a daughter, and they had a blizzard in Seattle this year. They got about 12 inches of snow, and the schools were closed for a week.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
They got that much snow in Seattle?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yep.
I didn't know that was possible.
Well, I'm not sure they did either. Yeah, they closed the schools for a week.
Yeah.
Wow. Because they don't have substantial snow removal equipment.
Right.
And and even as it was melting, they wouldn't open the schools until sidewalks were clear. And she and some friends were talking, they should get a group of moms together and just shovel the school out and shovel the sidewalks to get the kids out of the house and back to school.
Sure. Yeah. What you gonna do with those rugrats? Yeah. School's a good thing.
Yes. Yes.
So, well, it sounds like we have a very full calendar, so far for Main Street, and I know there's going to be more things going on as time progresses that we'll be speaking about. But I'm really excited about the art in Central Park. It's new, it's innovative, it's got the community excited, and it's just going to add another layer to what we offer as a city. So thank you for letting me be involved. Well,
thank you so much for being involved. And I think that's one of the things that as an organization that we would like to focus on more going forward. We have some great events here in Two Rivers, whether it's the Cool City Classic Car Show or Kites Over Lake Michigan or the Ethnic Festival, and the community attends those. But any ideas that I see for things that the community can not only attend, but the community can participate in, like that, I think we should be all over, because it ties the community together.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yep. And I have a feeling you came back from Seattle with maybe some ideas as to what we could do in the future, because I can hear your wheels spinning and I see the steam coming out of your ears. So everybody just stay tuned for what comes next.
I just have to figure out how they're going to fit on my calendar.
Sure. We just add more hours to the day. Super
there
simple.
You go. Well, there you go. Well, and can I mention one more thing real quickly?
Sure.
We will be hiring a part-time office person on a temporary basis to start mid-May and work until the end of October in the Main Street office. That position will be about 15 hours a week typically, but they'll also be expected to be at events like the car show for those 2 days, an ethnic festival and wine walks and things like that. So if anybody is interested, our website, the job description is going up on our website, which is tworiversmainstreet.com. They can look at the job description and the instructions and get us a resume. We'll be taking resumes probably until about the 19th of April or so. Get us your resume. We'd love to have you apply.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Well, we'll help spread the word whenever you get the post up. So.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Roger, as always, thanks. We learned something whenever you come on the show. And we'll look forward to getting the update on the next installment.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. See you next time.
Yep.
And we will be back shortly. And cut.
All right, we're here with Ms. Christma Rusch, the Executive Director for the Lighthouse Recovery Center, and we're here to learn about the programs at the Lighthouse and really kind of the state of things in the county for substance abuse disorder. And welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up working for the Lighthouse?
Okay, so I'm the founder. It was really a vision to be able to create a safe space for individuals to kind of come in and be able to start their recovery journey. So that's really what it has become. That's exactly what it is. So I myself am somebody in long-term recovery since 2005, and I've been working in human service work and nonprofit work since 2010.
That's excellent. And when did you found the Lighthouse?
Last year.
Oh.
Last year.
Oh,
so
really?
we started it in November of 2017, and we're an official nonprofit as of last week, but that
Congratulations.
goes all the way back till we incorporated last July.
Okay. And now where are you located?
Sure, 721 Park Street. It's kitty corner from the Rahr West Museum in Manitowoc.
Oh yeah, sure, of course,
It's
of
beautiful,
course.
beautiful home.
So tell us a little bit about the services that the center provides, and how many people are you able to help so far?
Yeah, so our mission is to empower individuals seeking recovery by providing recovery support services, education, and resources. So the minute somebody walks through the door or calls us on the phone, we're able to provide kind of direction, at the very least direction and resources to where they're at and what they would like to get started with. And then actually in-house we provide a very diverse group of meetings, support meetings throughout the week. So I think we have 9 right now. So, and it continues to just keep growing. Our programming, we also focus on making sure that we're treating the whole person holistically. So we honor all pathways to recovery because there's not just one or two, and not one, what works for one might not work for another. So we host.
So like different from AA, where it's just sort of there's the AA way to go about getting your chips and stuff like that.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 12-step groups are definitely within, definitely a pathway.
Okay.
But then there's faith-based, there's energy work, there's physical activity, there's different types of support groups out there. So we have like Wellbriety, which is a Native American version of the 12 steps.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Smart Recovery will be starting within the month, so that's exciting. That's a non-secular support group for people. We do have a variety of Narcotics Anonymous and AA meetings also throughout the week. We have open men's recovery discussion meetings. And then we have like the sober activities, really, we want to make sure that we're treating everybody that's affected by addiction, so it includes family. So we have a family dinner every Tuesday evening, so that's great because the kids can come, family members can come, and then the NAR meeting happens after that, so that supports family members as well.
Well, I know I was at, what was it, about a month and a half ago, and they had drug court, and a mutual friend was graduating that day. And I know that a lot of the people who are in the drug court, a couple of them mentioned they mentioned Lighthouse Recovery Center, and it seems like maybe you're spreading more out into art as like a therapy in recovery as well.
Definitely like a creative avenue, like definitely a way to like tap into, things that once used to spark our passions. So yes, we have an art and recovery. So we just had ours last night. We're collectively working on our sign for outside in our yard this year. So that's what we were working on last year. But we've done some really neat paintings, some yarn work, anything kind of like that idea. If our hands are moving, our mind is still, and our mind is a lot of the problem, the way we think. So we have individuals that play music, so they're teaching guitar and piano, and so we have that music piece also available going on.
It's amazing.
I was just thinking of our friend Mr. Noodleman, a musician we had in an earlier episode of the show, who spent many years in music therapy, providing that for people with behavioral health, kinds of issues. Right. So very
it's
neat.
amazing to see how many people want to come and give back, whether it's a yoga class or a healthy cooking class, like being able to offer that. But really, it's about collaborating and watching people be like, hey, is there a way that we can come and teach your population about whatever it is that they want to teach, which is really neat.
Well, I know last fall you had your open house with your silent auction, and that place was packed.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people you ended up
with. It was over 100, but then we had all the, we had the live gallery with all the volunteers too. So.
Right, it was amazing. I mean, it was hard to maneuver. Through the well, it's a old home.
It is.
That you guys have.
It's an old parsonage.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's attached to what church?
First Lutheran on North 8th Street.
Okay.
Yeah. So this year's Dose of Hope is still on a Friday. It's September 20th, 4 to 7 again. This year, though, we won't have, I don't think, as many problems with that because we've partnered with the Rahr West Museum, so we hope to be over there and be able to have some of it over there, the speakers, silent auction.
That's awesome.
Yeah, over there. And then we can have that live gallery, which for people coming through, and you got to experience last year coming through, we had a live gallery upstairs, and so we had our volunteers kind of staging so people could see what the house really looks like when it's in action, which
Right.
Very nice.
you can come anytime for a tour and see it in action. That's
And I
always
really
busy.
didn't realize until later that it was staged, so I felt like I was intruding on people.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. I hope it was still fun in the process.
It was, and there were some of my friends who were there. I hadn't expected to see them, but I was like very pleased. And I know what really got me the most was the quilt. If you
Yeah.
want to talk about the quilt, that blew my mind.
Yeah, so Beverly's, she's from the Appleton or Fox Cities area. She lost her daughter to a opiate overdose, and she travels around the state with those quilts, and they're huge, and they're small patches with individual faces on it, and it really spreads awareness and hope. At the same time, awareness that, like, obviously we have a problem, on the black quilts, those are individuals that have passed on, and then there's ones that are incarcerated, ones that are still using, and then there's lots of white patches that show individuals that are in recovery.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was a really, just having that visual made a huge impact. I
Yes.
mean, that was a stroke of genius doing it that way, because it hits you viscerally.
Yeah.
It really does. But I know I stayed staring at that for quite a while and just reading the names and just talking to people in the room.
We got a lot of positive feedback.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up is that just recently I saw an article about our current administration has more than, and I'm going to take it, this is, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt as to the amount of money, but more than doubled funding for the opioid crisis. And the article that I read it kind of questions on how it's being spent.
Sure.
So the money is available. Can you explain the process, how it trickles down from the feds to the states, and then what you're involved in?
Yeah, and it really depends on the focus too. A lot of the expansion comes from two things. One, there's been a huge shift to understand that substance use disorder is a chronic health disorder. It's something that needs to be treated over time. You look at a continuum of care with somebody who has heart failure or cancer. It takes time that they need to be treated, and holistically. So there's that shift of understanding, now we need to start treating individuals with this type of dependency over a vast, at least 18 to 24 months, 18 to 36 months. I'll say it again. So that's a shift, and so starting to look at more the recovery support services and not just the 28-day program. So that's where kind of the extended funding is coming from. Also, there is a lot to do with the med-assisted as well, coming along kind of down the pipelines and supporting that, as there's a lot of medications that assist individuals both with alcohol dependency and opiate dependency.
Okay. And you're going to be speaking down in front of our legislators in Madison?
We will have an opportunity next week, Wednesday. So next week, Wednesday in Madison is the Recovery Alignment Day. So there'll be lots of speakers. And yeah, there are some things that we're really trying to push, because if we don't have a voice and say, listen, there's really more to helping somebody recover, like child care and recovery support services and recovery centers, things like that we have to think about, wraparound care, that type of programming. And we need to go there and have a voice, because otherwise, if we're not careful, funding streams can end up just in a clinical setting. Clinical setting now is very needed, and it's part of the continuum of care, but if we're not down there to have a voice, that can kind of get lost. So
Right.
we will be down there on Wednesday to make sure that we are advocating to support recovery support services outside of just the clinical.
Right. And you guys are available 24/7 to people?
We have a warm line. If we
Okay.
don't answer right away, it's usually within 4 to 6 hours that we can get back
Okay.
to people. And then people can call or text to either talk to, we'll talk to a recovery support service
Okay.
specialist.
Because I know you've gotten calls in the middle of the night and you've responded, and some have been harrowing.
Yeah.
But you're there, and I have so much respect for you. You put yourself out there, and you put your life is out there for it. And you've done spectacular work, and it's amazing. I thought you'd been around much longer.
Oh, Yeah.
Considering what level of offerings that you have right now. It just seems to me that it would have been a longer period of time. So I really applaud you for that.
I think it's a lot about thank you. I'll say thank you. And then it's a lot about pulling like the right people together. I have an amazing team. Our board is phenomenal in what they do and what they have to decide on a regular basis, and they've walked right alongside with me the whole time. So I really appreciate that. And then of course our volunteers and supporters. You know, and prior to that, it really was like the people that came before me in recovery that like took me under their wing and nurtured me and built me up and really taught me that I was worth more than what I had been telling myself, or I could give myself credit, or you know, I could just start looking at myself and the world differently. So that's really where it started. But.
So how many people do you think you have who participate over at Recovery then?
Yeah, so I can give you from the time that we opened our doors October 2nd until December 31st, we served 200 people, over 200 people, and we had our mission fulfilled 1,296 times. And what that means is every time somebody walks through the door, it's one less time that they're not going to the bar, they're not going to the trap house, or they're not trying to, you know, get some change in a car or something, you know, like whatever it is like they're coming there instead of, you know, being in a bad situation.
And I know that a lot of the people who are in recovery right now, they do volunteer.
Yes.
Over at the Lighthouse,
yes.
And I think that adds even a greater layer of to their recovery, because I think everybody wants to help other people, and especially if you're in the same boat and you understand what that other person is going through.
Absolutely.
You know, right, but I think just seeing the fact that you can help somebody else, I think that helps in somebody's own recovery. That
right.
You can pass that on and be there for somebody else, because you were saying, you know, the treatment, it's not just a couple of days or a couple of weeks, or it's perpetual. You know, you get to a certain point where maybe it's a little bit easier, but there's always room for support.
I think it's gives us purpose, and it makes it feel like everything that we went through and all the chaos and all the wreckage that we caused maybe wasn't completely at a loss, right? Because now the best thing that we can do to give somebody hope is like let them know that they're not alone in what they're going through, right. You know. And so then I can reflect back and be like, okay, this is why I went through that, you know.
Did you think you'd be this far along? So to me, it's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I had this idea of like now, right? Because that's how I think. So I wanted to be open sooner. I wanted everything sooner. But then there was the team, right? Really amazing, talented people with the skills that were needed that I didn't necessarily have, or the experience that I didn't necessarily have. So, you know, like Tim Burkhardt at Michael's Best, who, you know, kind of sat me down and said, I know you want to do this now, but do you want to do it right? And that was it. That's all I needed to hear. You know, somebody else who understood like the thinking, and then also somebody who knew that I cared about the integrity so much about, you know, this organization,
right.
That I was going to do the right thing, you know, or make that decision. So
that's great. Yeah. Now, do you just limit the area that you serve to Manitowoc County, or do you take people from outside of the county, or how does that work?
We don't really.
Mission?
People just walk through the door.
Just whoever walks in.
Yep,
and
it's
a
very family-like atmosphere when you walk in, and the drop-in center is usually what's open in between meeting times, and you know, you can just kind of come, and it's really about connection and building relationships. Because that's a pathway to recovery, is building those relationships. And in every pathway, it's very a healing process to be able to do that. So being able to walk through the door and connect with people.
Yeah. Forgive me, is it too personal a question to ask? What was your path to recovery? What way did you find that worked?
It was a 12-step program. Yep, it was a 12-step program, and it was really wonderful people that were around those tables when I got there.
That's amazing. Oh, very nice.
Now I have a question here. Well, Todd has a question. What programs? Yes, you came up with that one. What programs do you have for educating the community about the stigma of substance abuse disorder? Because some people don't view it as, they view it as a fault or a failing on that individual's part. So what do you do as far as educating people on what addiction actually is?
Well, that's a pretty good question.
I know, you did a great job.
So we've done a few showings, film screenings of the anonymous people, which really gives people an understanding of what the background of the recovery movement is about. In regards to education about the biopsychosocial piece, we talk about ACEs, which is adverse childhood experiences, and I'm a trainer with that, so having that discussion with people in the community and letting them know that if individuals that have experienced 4 or more adverse childhood experiences growing up, they have a 20% increase of whether it's other chronic health disorders, obesity, diabetes, substance use disorder, mental health issues, all those things play a big factor in that. So we talk about that when we talk about like kind of the science behind of the addiction.
What are some of those childhood experiences that might trigger?
So there's divorce, there's parents incarceration, there's any type of mental, emotional, or sexual abuse. There is, I'm not going to remember them all. There's 10 of them.
Okay.
Okay.
So and they're asked kind of like that. So if there's any absentee or any type of abuse in the home is the 2 biggest ones. And kind
Okay.
of separate them that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often do you get a chance to do those sorts of community education events?
So we have one coming up on the 12th, which is Prevention Week. So we're doing in collaboration with Healthiest Manitowoc that usually hosts that.
And this will probably be coming out around the 12th, or maybe a
Yeah.
little before, so that's perfect timing. Good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be doing another film screening of the Anonymous People. We'll also be hosting the Narcan training that day, so people can come and educate themselves on the medication that is
Okay.
administered in order to help people come out of a opiate overdose.
Mhm.
And being able to meet and experience those people that have come through the other side and are living healthy, productive lives, because I think there's a lot of stigma and opinions about that as well.
There is a lot of stigma attached.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just the fact that people show up, says a lot to their, intestinal fortitude. It's like they're willing to put themselves out there and say, yeah, I have an issue and I'm doing something about it. So sue me,
Yeah.
It's like, so, you really have to, because there's going to be judgment,
Right.
and that's kind of a hard thing for a lot of people to deal with. You don't want to be judged harshly, but sometimes it's kind of like, it's just the way it is, but you're doing it for yourself,
Yeah.
So
So the idea about the recovery movement, and even so, like Lighthouse is a recovery community organization, which means we're not anonymous. In fact, we take pride in the fact that we are in recovery. And we don't want to live in that cycle of shame anymore, of feeling like we have to hide the fact that we once, were struggling with substance use disorder. So that is like a gift to be able to share with people, which is why we have our canvases all over the house with people's picture, because it gives a face to recovery. And we do our Dose of Hope videos. But what's interesting is people still don't know how many people live and don't say anything. How many people, we know that kind of feel like they have to live double lives, in all different sectors,
I was going to say, it's across the board.
Oh, yeah. Nurses, the emergency service field, judicial,
Amazing.
law enforcement. It doesn't matter, law enforcement. Like, I can't think of everybody,
Right.
It's very diverse. There's not a picture of, like, that person's going to grow up to be an addict someday. Like,
Right.
that's not how it works.
It's like any kind of disability or chronic condition, it touches all of us at some point, whether a family member or yourself personally. So
Yeah. And I always think of and that's like somebody's family member,
Yeah.
like
Right.
to identify like that's somebody's child, wife, mother, sister.
Mhm.
And it's nice that you have support for the families,
Yes,
too,
absolutely.
because I know sometimes they can feel kind of hopeless,
Mhm.
or, what more can I do? Or I think I've done as much as I possibly can, but so they need support too, because it's a very difficult situation for just more than just the person with the issue. And I wanted to ask you, are you originally from Manitowoc County?
I've been here since 1990. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Where are you from?
Dallas.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And then Green Bay, and then here.
Oh, okay.
But I was born in Dallas. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be darned. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I was stationed in Texas. I got down to Dallas a couple of times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
It was. I had a really good time in Dallas.
I did. I did convert. I did convert to the Packers. That's in my mind.
You almost have to.
That was like the big debate growing up, like
Sure.
two teams. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Go with that.
So, with all of this care that you give for others in the community,
Yeah.
that's got to be exhausting. what do you do to recharge yourself?
Yeah.
Is there some kind of hobby or something you do where you just have to unplug and just kind of re-energize yourself? What helps you?
Volleyball on Saturdays.
Okay, that's cool.
1 to 4 every Saturday. That's like my sanctuary time,
Okay.
my commitment to myself. And yes, it's recovery,
Sure.
but
sure.
I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about the kids or bills or like anything like that. Like I'm completely present in the moment. You know, tonight me and my husband have a date night, and
Very nice,
I
very
will
nice.
leave work at work for that time.
Sure.
That's all I got.
So you say.
Got a good crew there. So like tonight there's what's going on? Movie game night is going on, but there's trained volunteers there, and we have other staff and board members, and you know their phone is accessible, so it's
That's
great.
it's a well supported organization by more than just me. So
Because you do have to have you time,
yeah.
you know, because, well, I've met your daughter. Now, do you have more children?
Biologically, she's my only biological child.
Okay.
I've
She was a
separated.
cutie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a live wire.
She likes this stuff.
Does she? You
Yeah.
have to bring
Yeah.
her in.
Yeah. Yeah, she wants to be a YouTuber.
Nice.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
and we learned a lot, and we're going to help you get your message out.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
You're
that.
doing incredible work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And, you know, if there's anything else we can do to help, if there's messages or events that you want us to get onto the calendar,
Okay.
right.
we're very happy to do that.
Appreciate
So,
that.
yeah.
Appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, Go
One
ahead.
last thing. If somebody wants to
Right.
find out more information
Yes.
about you,
Yes.
I will have a link down in the comments section.
Okay.
But is there a website or someplace that
Lighthouse Recovery Community Center.org.
LighthouseCommunityRecoveryCenter.org?
Yeah, but I would go to the Facebook page right now. Our website is under construction, so
Okay.
go to the Facebook page. We do all our updates. All of our events are on there. And our warm line is 920-374-3989. And so that's for anybody who's struggling or has a family member and you want to reach out, you can call or text that number.
And I'll get that down into the doobly-doo.
The doobly-doo.
Right,
Yeah.
so people have instant access to that information.
Technical term.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you,
Oh,
Christma.
thank
Thanks
you
for
so
being on the
much.
show.
Appreciate it.
All right, and we'll be back in just a second.
Hi, everybody. We're back with our musical guest this week, a return guest, actually, James Willoughby. Welcome back, sir.
Hello,
Good to
I'm
see
glad
you.
to be here.
Yeah. So now I think you were in one of our earliest episodes, and I know we've improved our sound system and our video game a little bit since. I'm still a little bit rough, but I think we're doing all right for us.
That's part of our charm.
But really excited to have you back because I think you had shared with us before we got on the screen here that you put some lyrics to a song that you're working on.
Yeah, actually I had lyrics to it prior. I just hadn't sang them at all because I used to think that song was a lot more fitting instrumental, but I think it's actually better that I come out and tell people what was actually written there, and I don't know.
That's
It should be
great.
an interesting listen because it's supposed to tie in again with all of those albums that I've been talking about in the past, so.
Right on. Yeah. So so what else are you working on right now?
I've been doing that as well as a lot of research on both when it comes to anything music theory related, mainly with the scales, otherwise, and also doing research when it comes to frequencies and the different rates that we have in both what is separated as Western music, and then there's like things that are borrowed from Eastern music and different ideals that come from that, such as the instruments that are like sitar and like tabla, where they actually have the drums tuned to what they're playing. And I've been just really intrigued with the differences and also finding the similarities that is kind of bridged between both of those worlds, between harmonics and what we associate with the Western tones of like our chromatic scales.
So do you find yourself like the composition work that you're doing? Are you trying to sort of bridge East and West, or you just feel it's kind of broadening you as a musician to?
I've been trying to take it more as like, I'll see what I've written in the past so then I can actually see what I have already written and what I've already done, and seeing how those things end up changing through the music. And also just in everyday life too, it helps me see just different things when it comes to the whole things with the harmonics and such as well. You start seeing associations just between the different tones, and then how in everyday life it actually affects us, and it's really interesting. There was also videos that I delved into when it came to that research that were reference to Marianne Amaker, who was a researcher in psychoacoustic phenomena, which is the effects of how different tones or sounds will affect the human brain or psyche. And yeah, there were a lot of very interesting things to find with that.
Oh, that's interesting. So like, you know, sometimes like when I'm working, I'll put on some music that's supposed to like help your mental processes or help you be more productive. So those kinds of those kinds of things. There's actually some science behind that.
Yeah, they've done research with that, and there's also I've known a couple people in the past, or I've known of one person at least, who's gone into music therapy in college. So that was something that that was a thought in my mind that I ended up thinking of when I started researching a lot of this stuff too. I was just like, wow, like there is truth to this kind of thing, and it's just really interesting to see that it's not talked about as much as I thought it would be. So
we were talking about music therapy and art therapy earlier today
in another segment. Yeah, right.
And you know, it's very important because without the arts, whether it's oral or if it's visual, we're nothing. We need that kind of interaction. You know, I think just for our own sanity. But it's kind of we have this thing going today.
We do.
So it's kind of cool.
It all fits together. So yeah, thanks for fitting into the whole harmonic that we got going on.
You're welcome. It's beautiful when the pieces fit.
Yeah.
So I'm just really curious. Since the last time we talked, what have you been up to in your life?
Still trying to delve over different musical ideals, seeing that. I've been really getting into, I don't know, painting for the most part. I haven't really done any paintings as commission works or anything, but I've been delving back with people who were close in my past and seeing if they would like a painting. And one thing that I've been trying to tie together with that is I've also been a fan of Kubrick and Tarantino as well, but I think Kubrick would be a better example for just how the works end up all tying in together. So instead of just having like each painting be its own separate painting, I still try to keep the ideals or some form of a motive per se, or even a framework consistent in those paintings, and trying to also see that a little bit with music too, but that's
great.
A little more challenging sometimes.
When you have some finished pieces, you need to share it with Basil's.
Okay.
I really, really want to see your work.
All right.
Yeah.
But right now, we're interested in hearing some of your music. What are you going to be playing for us today?
I'll be playing A Better Way, which will be from Swiss Army Man. It'll be segments of that song. I won't be playing the entirety of it. But to tie in with the trying to tie all works together kind of thing, I'll be transitioning between pieces and segments of pieces to where it all fits together as if it's one song. So there will be a segment in the beginning and the end from A Better Way, which is from the movie Swiss Army Man, with Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano.
Okay.
If I'm saying his name correctly, I hope so. And then I'll also be playing a repeat of one that I have already done, which was Heart Mind / Devachka. But I'll actually be implementing the lyrics this time. And then I'll have another segment that's more of just a drone piece that is more a piece I dedicate to the earth per se, as well as a lot of the other music that I end up doing. So it should be interesting.
It's like a kirtan thing, or
a kirtan? I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah, so I've got my in-laws actually. They run a little kirtan band, and so it was like a lot of like Sanskrit and kind of drone music that kind of goes along with it for meditation and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm interested in drone. That's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be right back and hear from James. And we always feel like we learned something when you come on the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And just stay tuned for Mr. James Willoughby, back by popular demand, by the way. So there.
I'm flattered.
You're blushing. All right. We will be right back.
such a commitment to being alone. Interest, nothing but interest. I think I lost it forever ago. Is there any way to get out? If it doesn't seem this permeation of self, deeper now through roots and thoughts you dug. One day the vessel she gifted will rest in subdued terracotta. Be mindful of the one, the young, the self. Through a darker sea, take for the lies. The root shall spread, so impatiently will rise. Your roots they choose where they root, so root them wisely. For roots have shown your best of all to be like. From earth you rose, reach was the sun. One day you'll bloom to what you're blessed of. Through life you shift, know it's a gift, oh so divine. The sacred key is within everything, so find the balance in both dark and light. Heartless, how are you, heartless? I saw your sadness, I'll make it my own. There's gotta be a better way to get out of here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
I like them all, flaws and all, but I should polish up my stuff a lot more, a lot of the time.
It's a wrap.
Cool. Yeah.
That was very cool.
Would you like this?
Or I could put it up on the gallery wall.
Well, yeah, it doesn't even have to be for the gallery, just for you guys in general.
Well, actually, I'll put it on my corkboard. Thank you.
Because those are the lyrics.
That was very cool.
I just posted up a little preview of you on Instagram too.
Look at these.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully I spelled your name right. I'll go back to double check.
James, say something. I'm gonna turn this off. Say something funny.
Say something funny.
Yeah.
It's like a clockwork rainbow.